Good evening and happy Sunday, everybody. We're welcome back to another edition or another live show. I gotta get a better, I gotta get a better intro. I never know how to bring in the show. I think when the show goes, it goes well, but I don't know what to say. Like, I like to say the date so people know what the date is. And today is May 14, 2023. It's Mother's Day. And happy Mother's Day to all of those mothers out there. This day honors you. It honors you. And I honor you here at the Opinionated Idiot YouTube channel. I got to get like a better, I don't know how to open the show. So maybe that's something we can work on because I feel weird when I go, welcome back to another edition of the live show. I don't know. I got to figure something out. But anyway, happy Mother's to everybody out there. I hope everybody had a fantastic day with their friends or family or their mother that they honored, or maybe there's just someone in their life that cares for them as a mother and they took care of them today. Unfortunately, today I had to work, but what I did for my mom was I bought her some really nice perfume yesterday. She intended to come over, do a little bit around my house, gives her something to do in her retirement. She's still very connected to her boy. But anyway, she stopped by my house today. I told her I left something for her on my kitchen counter. I had that perfume wrapped and it was really nice. I got a message from her when I was at work today and she wrote me and said, she said, I am very lucky and fortunate mother to have a wonderful son that I have. She says, thank you and I love you. Thank you very much for the perfume. I love the smell. It's great. It's a nice scent. Love you. And then she asked me, have a good day. Are you busy today? And that was really nice to get that from my mom. So hopefully everybody reached out to their moms today and hug them a little closer today. They deserve it because they do a lot for us. So anyway, we're going to talk about this this Jesse McFadden case. And I wasn't going to say the name, but I think I need to say the name if anybody's not familiar with this. This is the so-called Oklahoma Slumber Party Massacre. And this is a case that is not really being talked about in the media. I'm a little disgusted about that because the totality of what we're finding out. And I had a lot of confliction with doing this and talking about this. It's very disturbing. There's going to be some trigger warnings in this stream. If you cannot deal with highly sensitive material, I would say probably take the stream off. That's okay. We understand that. But I think this is a case that needs to be brought to light. I think this goes a lot deeper than what we're finding out. There's a lot of fuckery in the police department there. I'm disgusted in the way that they've acted. I'm disgusted with the DA that prosecuted the sick animal. And I'm disgusted with the review board that has allowed this animal to walk free. And to find out what has been happening as he's been out and what did happen. And thankfully, this scumbag is now wiped himself off the face of this earth. But unfortunately, the horror and devastation that he left behind is going to be life lasting, probably for a lot more people than we think was just going on in this part of the case that we've learned about. I'm going to get deeper into that right in a minute here, but I always like to do my Sundays and I like to read. I kind of prepare a food for thought. And then I'm going to read this. I'm going to get to the chat and see who's in the chat. But I want to talk about true crime for a second. So true crime is a genre that covers stories about real life crimes and criminal investigations. It has become a popular form of entertainment with podcasts, TV shows, books, documentaries, all delving into the detail of notorious crimes. Some people find true crime fascinating and enjoy learning about motives and psychology of criminals. Sorry. Others find it disturbing and think it glorifies violence. One potential benefit of true crime is that we can raise awareness to important social issues related to crime, justice, and public safety. It can also help promote a deeper understanding of the complex factors that contribute to criminal behavior. However, it's important to approach true crime with a critical eye and remember that stories we hear are often filtered through the media and may not reflect the full realities of events. Additionally, true crime can be triggering for some people, particularly those who have experienced violence or trauma themselves. Overall, the popularity of true crime highlights our collective fascination with the darker aspects of the human behavior. However, it's important to remember that real life crimes have real life victims. And our interest in true crime should never overshadow the importance of empathy, compassion, and respect for those who have suffered as a result of criminal acts. I say this today for all of you because I want to let you all know the content that you will get here on this channel, on the Opinionated Idiot YouTube channel, will always be based on the facts. We will always stick to the facts. We may explore things, but I will do that in truth. And until I can find certain things that are true, or if someone can show me evidence that is true, or a legal document pertaining to a particular case that I may not seen, you have to stay with truth. You have to respect the victims. You have to respect the friends, the families, the communities. And there is a lot of fuckery going on right now, especially with Idaho. You're all adults. You're all smart. You're all free to watch the channels out there that are out there on the internet. And listen, a lot of people might look at me and say, I'm a son of a bitch, or my channel and my stuff is bullshit. I never said I'm the best YouTuber on this planet. I never said I'm the best true crime investigator or true crime podcast on the internet, on YouTube. Because believe me, there's a lot of great podcasts. There's a lot of great content out there, and there's a lot of respectable content out there, but there's a lot of fuckery going on. Don't feed into those channels. Stick to the people that are credible. Investigate before you form an opinion or a determination about something. You'll be surprised. You all have brains. Use them. Use them. These little pop-up channels that are popping up, don't entertain those people. They're going to be nothing in 3 to 6 months when they all go away and they crawl back under their rock. They don't want justice in these cases. They want clout, and they want money, and they want views, and they want clicks. And they bring up all this bullshit that's surrounding these cases, especially Idaho. It's fuckery. It's fuckery. Don't get tricked. Don't get duped. Stick to the credible channels. I don't have to tell you what they are. You all watch. You all watch. So I'll end that thought on that. We'll get to the chats. All right, let's go back up. I think I saw our new membership as well, too. Jen DC's here, said, oops, I'm early, but it's good to see you. Victorine, always in here. She beat you tonight, Victorine. She beat you. Tsunami's here. One of my wrenches, my mods, my idiots. Dr. Bob in the house as well. Good to see you. I hope your Sunday was well. Bobby is here. Bobby, thanks for checking in. George is here, says happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Brenda in the chat. BBN is here. Nice to see you. Happy Mother's Day to you if you are a mom. Mind your business. Love that name. Love seeing that name. Channel mods in their room. Chosen Rosen. Good to see you as well. Rescue Me. Looks like a new name there. Good to see you. Glenn is back. Good to see you. Thank you for the good music. It's haunting. It's very haunting. I like it. It's very haunting. Harlet's here as well. Perfect timing. Super interesting stream. Just super interesting stream just ending. Okay. Candy's here. Another brand new mod here in the chat. Welcome. Danielle's here as well. Gator's here. Good to see you. OCD said, hey, I made it. Good for you. All right, let's recognize the new member. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you so much. Welcome. give you a cheer on that one there too. Thank you. Vanderhoof is here. Good to see you as well. A lot of no conspiracy social club here. No, we don't do it. We stick to the facts. We stick to the facts. And I know that bothers a lot of people. I know that triggers and bothers a lot of people. They don't like it when we stick to the facts. They don't like it. Samantha's here as well. Good to see you. Who else do I got? All right. I think we got everybody so far. The crowd should fill in as we go. You know how it is. But let's get into this. And let's see. Let's add this to the stream. Disgusting. I'm disgusted. Cops left behind bloody kids' clothes, bones on Oklahoma. S.O. Jesse McFadden property family says. Excuse me. The police who investigated the Oklahoma property where an S.O. gunned down his wife and 5 teens before killing himself last week failed to find bloody clothing, bones, and horrifying things at the scene, one grieving relative said this week. The gruesome findings littered the Henryetta property after convicted R. Jesse McFadden, 39, killed his wife, Holly Guess, 35, and her 3 children and her 2 teenage friends before turning the gun on himself at the Henryetta property. Guess aunt Lynn Wyatt said Monday, quote, "Nothing can prepare anyone for what we had find," a tearful Watt said in an interview with News Nation Ashley Banfield. Now, listen, I know that Banfield gets a lot of shit. I know that a lot of people don't like her, but I got to give them a lot of credit. You know, I don't particularly swing with the politics on News Nation, but I give them a lot of credit in the sense that they are reporting on this. I have not seen anything anywhere about this case. And it's disgusting and it needs to be brought to life because I'm going to tell you, there's a lot more going on in this crime than you're seeing. There was a lot of computer equipment in that house. I'm sure there were live streams of these kids being tortured. Wyatt said that she had traumatized relatives, came across bloody children's clothes in a mysterious ledger, bindings of disturbing pictures and other objects that police missed during their own search. We found bones. We found other things. The family members came, the police came. We found a lot of horrifying things, she alleged. Wyatt said she also found Velcro restraints in the house, but police officers told her to throw them away because the house was no longer an active crime scene. We need the FBI involved in this. What is going on? Are the police this stupid? You all watching this stream, either live or replay, you need to reach out to the governor of Oklahoma, Kevin Stitt, and his last name is spelled Stitt, and let him know of the disgust in this case. Let him know of the disgust of the DA in this case of setting this animal free. The review board that allowed this animal to be out on probation. This all needs to be investigated. You need to write or call his office 24 hours a day until someone listens. No one is listening. Speak up. I'm going to be making phone calls. I'm going to be writing emails. I'm going to be writing letters. I am disgusted about this. Footage from the inside the McFadden's home shows the restraints attached to the wall behind the books like a mattress on the floor. This is not This is not 2 days. This is not a day. No one put this together in a day. This monster has been doing this for a long time. You don't just think of this something overnight. These restraints drilled into the wall with eye loops and chains. This is not overnight. And YouTube, do not censor this stream. This needs to be talked about. People need to know about what's going on there. And this needs to be investigated and find out who else is involved in this. I'm sure he's not the only one that was abusing these kids. He probably had people over this house abusing these kids. And there's probably more victims involved. And this probably was broadcasted all over the internet or the dark web. This is deep. And all those people that viewed this content need to be found and arrested and put away for the rest of their life, because there's a deeper hell for these type of people. A deeper hell. The bloody clothes, she explained, were put into the garbage bags for investigators. Quote, "I'm not a crime scene investigator. I'm not a police officer. I should not have seen those things. I'm not sleeping. I'm not eating," she said. Police believe that McFadden, who was set to be tried last week for soliciting CP, killed Guess, her children, and 2 other teens who were visiting the family with multiple gunshots to the head, and staged an elaborate crime scene before taking his own life. The bodies of Guess, McFadden, and Guess' son, Michael, 15, daughter Tiffany, 13, and all discovered together, police said last week. The remains of Guess' daughter, Rylee, 17, and friends, Brittany Brewer, 16, and Ivy Webster, 14, were found about a quarter mile away. Quote, "There are questions that will never get answered because the only people know are no longer here." Okmulgee Police Chief Joe Prentice said of the harrowing incident, in 2017, McFadden was accused of using a contraband cell phone to sext an underage girl while still in prison for a 2003 R. He failed to appear on trial from May 1st, prompting discovery of 7 bodies. Police later revealed that McFadden messaged alleged victims hours before the killing. "This is all on you for continuing this," he wrote. Guess's mother, James Mayo, said last week that McFadden lied to her daughter about his past crimes. He was very standoffish, generally quiet, but kept my daughter and the kids basically under lock and key. He had known where they were at all times, which set up red flags, she said. And that's it for that article. It's disturbing. All right, let's see what this DA says.
But I have second guessed myself all week long about what I could have done or should have done differently. And it's been tough. It's been really tough.
The Muskogee County District Attorney is speaking tonight on Jesse McFadden's child porn case. McFadden, as you know right now, was out on bond in that case when police say he shot and killed 6 people in Henryetta, 5 of them children, then killed himself.
It's such a disturbing case. We've been bringing you extensive coverage on this tragedy and the state's response.
YouTube, do not censor this stream. It needs to be talked about. This needs to be put out there. There is a lot more going on here, and we need someone deeper than whatever department is investigating this. Call out to the governor of Oklahoma, Kevin Stitt. You need to look into this. Call his office. Make a complaint. This is deeper than what's just going on in this house. Believe me.
All week long. Fox 23's crime and safety reporter Abigail Dye is live in Henryetta. Abigail, what kind of insight did the Muskogee County DA give you?
Well, he gave me a lot of insight. You see, McFadden is a convicted rapist, and he was facing new child porn charges for something that he allegedly did while he was in prison for rape. And, I wanted to talk to the DA and ask the question that many of us have been wondering.
Yeah.
Why wasn't McFadden kept behind bars?
Yeah.
A tragedy that family members say didn't have to happen.
My daughter could have been alive, and my grandchildren could have been alive had Oklahoma done their due diligence and kept him behind.
Now, listen, I know a lot of people are going to look at these individuals and base opinions off their looks. This grandmother is smart and intelligent and knew shit was going on for a long time. And the families and the parents that speak up in these interviews are intelligent people. They are crying right now because no one is hearing them.
Behind bars.
Jesse McFadden murdered 6 people while out on bond for a crime he allegedly committed in prison.
We need answers of why this monster was released to be able to hurt kids.
Muskogee County District Attorney Larry Edwards wasn't in office when the case was filed, but took it over when elected in 2022.
Me being the DA of Muskogee County, honestly, I accept responsibility for that. Even though I was not here for most of that time period, ultimately, it's my responsibility.
In 2003, McFadden was sentenced to 20 years in prison for rape. In 2016, prison guards found child porn on his phone. And in 2017, he was charged with 2 counts of child porn. McFadden was released from prison in 2020 after serving 17 years of the 20-year sentence. The Department of Corrections said in a statement he earned enough credits through their credit system to serve only 85% of his time.
Do you think the credit system is a good system to be using?
That's DOC policy, and I'm not going to get into DOC policy.
McFadden was re-arrested on the child porn charges and posted a $25,000 bond in November of 2020.
Do you feel like that's a reasonable bond for a person like this?
I do not.
McFadden's case was pushed off for years because of the courthouse changing prosecutors, COVID, and McFadden's lawyer dying.
One of the most disappointing factors in this case was we let this case to go on as long as it did. And that's unacceptable. It just is.
The case was set to go to trial Monday, the same day McFadden and his 6 victims were found dead.
In retrospect, do you feel like things should have been done differently with this case?
Absolutely. There are a lot of things. I mean, as many people have said, the justice system broke on this case, and it did.
I don't want anybody else to go through this. So I ask that the country come together and we stop this. This needs to stop. These people need to be locked up for good.
He's right.
It's a lot to digest, and you heard it here. You heard it from the families and lawmakers and now officials. What happened here was a break in our justice system.
100%.
Abigail, such good information coming in. Did you talk to Edwards about if anything would change moving forward?
Yes, Sarah, he says that this completely changes the way that his office looks at bonds for violent sexual offenders. He says he wants to raise those bonds and make sure while someone is waiting on trial, they stay behind bars. Live in Henryetta, covering news that matters. I'm Abigail Dye, Fox 23 News.
All right. Shout out to Fox 23 News. Again, I am calling all of you watching this either live tonight or on the replay. Reach out to Kevin Stitt, the governor of Oklahoma, Stitt. Voice your displeasure in the handling of this case. I'm calling on all of you to do that. Just a simple phone call. Blow up his phone. Just keep calling and calling and calling. Let them know. They need to know. They need to know. All right, let's keep playing here. Let's get some more information out there. This is back on May 8th.
I'm angry. This should have never happened.
A father's search for answers leading him into a house of horrors. Nobody prepared for what was inside or the potential evidence missed by investigators.
That's them.
Hey,
that's them.
Okay, is that hers?
Yep.
Now, if anybody doesn't know, this is the parents of some of the victims that were allowed to go into the house from the property owner because the police left and basically said they got everything they needed. They went in and they found cell phones, they found computers, they found restraints, they found things that I don't even want to talk about on stream. And they went in and did their own evidence collection and had to call the police back again and say, look, you missed all this stuff.
Okay. Hold on.
Oh,
That's his
Sheriff,
daughter's
don't touch
phone.
him. Don't move him.
Along with Adria Goins, I'm Kevin Ogle, and tonight we are following blockbuster developments in that ghastly murder-suicide that shocked the state and nation, leaving 7 people dead, including 5 children.
Brittany Brewer, Ivy Webster, Tiffany Guess, Michael Mayo, and Rylee Allen, all between the ages of 13 and 17, along with Holly Guess, each shot to death.
Investigators have confirmed convicted sex offender Jesse McFadden killed those 6 victims, then himself. Earlier this week, law enforcement released the home where the murders occurred, giving him back to the property owner. And as of Tuesday afternoon, there was no longer an active investigation at this location.
In an effort to figure out what led up to this horrific murder-suicide, the families of the victims have launched their own search for answers.
The parents of teenager Ivy Webster wanted to go through the crime scene, hoping they could find something that would explain what happened. Once the crime tape was removed from the home and the scene released by law enforcement, the family went inside.
They left yesterday devastated by what they found. News 4's Kaylee Olivas with us the entire time. She joins us with an exclusive.
Well, Adria, Kevin, we first want to warn you the images you're about to see from inside the home are disturbing. It was hard to watch Ivy's family as they discovered what they believe is crucial evidence that was left behind by law enforcement. In a matter of minutes, they found their own daughter's cell phone tucked away in a cabinet, and that was just the beginning. Now they're wondering whether law enforcement dropped the ball.
We can't have parents go through what we have. I'm angry. This should have never happened.
His daughter Ivy was only 14 years old when Jesse McFadden murdered her. Okmulgee police say Ivy died from a gunshot wound to the head. Her family has 0 answers, couldn't say goodbye, and has no closure. So now they're looking for it.
I feel that my daughter, even right now, is standing behind me, telling me, Dad, keep going. Keep doing this. Phone or phone case.
Thursday afternoon, News 4 was invited by Webster and his family to take a closer look at where his daughter took her last breath. Behind these walls, the family found sex and bondage devices. In one of the bedrooms were restraints bolted into the bed frame. There was also a shelf filled with books about witchcraft. 10 feet away in the kitchen, another restraint with chains and locks.
There's nothing else to look at here.
Still attached. Although there were reportedly 4 bodies found in this home, we didn't see any bloodstains, no blood splatters. In the back room, the most shocking find of it all, crucial items that had not been collected.
That's them.
Hey,
that's them.
Okay, is that hers?
Yep. Okay. Hold on.
Call the sheriff.
Yep.
Don't touch him. Don't move him.
Ivy Webster's cell phone was tucked away in a laundry room cabinet, along with 2 other cell phones and 2 laptops. In the same room, syringes, what appears to be drug residue, and various items the family believes was used to torture their daughter before she was murdered. None of it collected by law enforcement until this family called the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office and asked them to come back to the home and retrieve these items.
There you go.
Pictures were snapped and the items finally collected, but not
I
without.
don't know if they're gonna play what the cop said here. Sorry, guys. This is deep. This is really deep.
Got a brief explanation as to why it hadn't been done before.
I want more done.
The problem is we don't know what else to do. Like,
there's a story to be told here.
Right.
We don't know what happened.
Don't know what else to do. I'm going to say
and
this.
Since we don't have the only person that can tell us what happened
is dead, but we can try to piece it together.
And I'm going to say this was not done right. No crime scene tape.
We are open to any suggestions you all can
I'm saying this. They didn't do their job, and the whole world's going to know it.
But what would this accomplish?
I'm a grieving parent that my daughter got raped and murdered. And you're telling me right now that I don't have a right to know what happened? The story's right here. It's right here. And it's still sitting here. Still!
Disgusted with the investigation into his daughter's murder, he only saw more uncollected evidence on his walkout. Another phone in the top drawer of a nightstand, several computer towers, and a check made out to a local storage company still sitting in plain sight.
I'm upset. Healing, trying to heal. Still confused. Still a lot of answers that need to be given.
We've spent the day trying to find out why the cell phones, why the laptops, and why the other evidence was left behind. We were told by a sheriff's investigator in Okmulgee County that they were only responsible for searching the property, not the house. He said the house was the sole responsibility of the OSBI, but the OSBI confirms its investigators were in the house. But they tell us those investigators were only providing assistance to the Okmulgee Police Department. Today, neither the Okmulgee Police Department nor the Sheriff's Office nor the DA's office would comment on our story. The OSBI did issue a statement saying they will continue to support and assist our law enforcement partners and grieve with the families of this horrible event. The investigation is still ongoing.
And we know you will follow it. Thank you, Kaylee.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to put a call out right now. If any of these parents of the victims need a platform to speak, you are welcome on my show to speak about this case. We will cover this. And you all need to do your work. The governor of Oklahoma, Kevin Stitt, S-T-I-T-T, needs phone calls, needs emails. You need to let him know your displeasure of the handling of this case, that it needs to be looked into. This is deeper. This is deeper than what's just going on in that little farmhouse ranch in Oklahoma. There's multiple computers that need to be looked through. There's camera equipment there. There was restraints. There's DNA that's probably all over that house that needs to be collected. There's probably more victims. There's probably people that went there to victimize people. I don't think this is just a small scale thing with a man and a woman. This is deeper than we think. This needs to be looked into. Please, someone hear this stream. Someone in law enforcement anywhere, FBI, you need to investigate this. It's deeper. My heart is just telling me this. I think everybody in this chat tonight sees this. This is way deeper, man. Way deeper. All right, let's keep playing through here.
Okay, the Oklahoma Sheriff's Department tasked with investigating last week's Slumber Party massacre. I actually don't know why we're calling that. I mean, this guy was a predator and he had access to kids who had kids over, and he wound up killing everybody and himself. The investigating agency has been asked to step aside. Why? Maybe because Justin Webster, father of a 14-year-old victim, Ivy Webster, visited the scene of the crime himself last week after sheriff said the home was cleared. That's the only reason victims' families or anybody else would be allowed in a crime scene. And he found a mountain, the father found a mountain of electronic evidence left behind.
And I'm just going to say this, because it is a government official, and I am talking about here on the stream. Let's do it with respect. Let's not threaten, nothing like that. we do this with respect. If you're going to write or call the office, let them know you are displeased at the way that this has been handled. We don't make threats. We don't threaten anybody. We treat this with respect. It is a government official. I don't want to see anybody getting in trouble. We're not being hostile, nothing like that. We're just voicing our displeasure of the handling of this case. It needs to be brought to life and it needs to be investigated more. That's how you approach this. That's how we approach this. We're not making threats. We're not going to do anything. We just want to call. We need someone to hear some phone calls or emails. That's what we're doing here. We're just raising awareness.
Including the cell phone of his daughter that the cops missed. The scene of the crime, he says, was horrific. Chains, restraints, drugs, weapons, all over the house. Justin also found a list of names and birth dates potentially pointing to other victims the suspect may have planned to target. Let's bring him in. This is so bizarre, especially with all the pain you're already dealing with. Justin, thank you for joining us. First, let's deal with Ivy's legacy. And you have a change.org.
I think this gentleman's name is Justin Weber. Justin Weber, if you see or hear this stream or you hear of me, I will lend you my platform to speak freely and sense your displeasure and get this out there. I know you're using mainstream media, but you know, if I can help you here on YouTube, my platform is open to you, sir.
Petition that you want people to know about, and that matters most. So what is it?
Webster, I'm sorry. Webster, not Weber.
We had her name is Ashley Mann. She's one of the residents here in Henryetta. She's actually a sex, she was an abused person herself also. And so this really meant a lot to her when this happened here in our small little town. And she took it upon herself to.
The computers are very important. The computers are very important in this. I'm telling you, this is just not a surface layer crime. There is many layers to this crime. I am almost guaranteed, I can just feel it in my gut, that this goes deeper than just this small farmhouse.
In a petition, and I asked her to come over so that way myself and my family could go over the petition and begin to add some other stuff that we thought we would want as a family.
We all need to speak,
victims
Christine.
of
We all are
horrendous crime. So we basically just drafted it together, and she posted it on the change.org, and where we've given it to Congressman Fettgetter to read over, so he understands.
This is good. It's getting to a congressperson's hands. This is good. This is what I wanted to hear. Let's go back and replay that a little bit so we can hear what he says.
Drafted it together, and she posted it on the change.org, and where we've given it to Congressman Fettgetter to read over. Good. So he understands what basically the whole community here, and hopefully the rest of the state will jump on board. And then after that, we're asking the whole country to jump on board to start enacting some of these changes and to create a new law. And we want to make sure that I think a big point for us was the name of the law. Most of these laws that are drafted in most states are named after one victim. And,
right,
you know, with all due respect to them, we wanted to come up with a law that protects all the victims. And here in Henryetta, our mascot are the Knights. So we wanted to name the law the Knights Law. And I think that's a great name to protect
it's very
all
strong.
our little Knights that are victims and affected by this.
Yep.
So let's go
Connie,
to the investigation.
Yeah,
you went into the home. They said it was cleared, and they literally missed your daughter's cell phone.
Yeah, the computers are very.
So from my understanding is the sheriff's office, Okmulgee Sheriff's Office.
Or people that were in that house, or people that viewed that content. There's IP addresses that can be found. I'm telling you, this is not just a surface layer crime. And those people that viewed any of this material need to be tracked down and arrested and put away forever.
Was the
I can
point
only imagine the horror that this gentleman is thinking. Not only did his daughter get killed, but was probably subject to immense torture.
agency in the investigation, and they had contacted the OSBI here in Oklahoma to do a
Thank you,
partial
Picky. I
assistance.
appreciate you.
And as a partial assistance for the OSBI, they can only assist as far as what the sheriff's office wants them to assist in. And so when they were going through the house,
And this is the thing that, this is the thing, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna be very opinionated right now. I'm gonna be very opinionated and give you my opinion. This is what irritates me. I'm not gonna hold back tonight. This is what irritates me in the YouTube space. Okay, I love my subscribers, I love my members, I love the people that rally for this channel, but this is the most important stream. Yes, Idaho is important, but these are children that were victimized, and there should be 400, 500 people watching this stream tonight. This is the streams that are important. These are the streams that matter. These are children we're talking about. I get it. Idaho is the sexy thing on the internet right now. There's conspiracies, there's drugs, there's violence, there's a guy that possibly did it on his own. There might be multiple people involved. There might be college kids jumping up from the floor and grabbing everybody and bringing them to the river and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. These are children. These are the most important streams. I wish there were 400, 500 eyes just like last night on this stream. And I get it. It's Mother's Day. I get that. But if you're watching this on a replay, this is the most important stuff.
sheriff's office, I think there was maybe just a few of them inside the house with OSBI, and they were telling OSBI what they want to take and whatnot. So just to clear up that confusion between the sheriff's office and the OSBI did what they could as far as the sheriff's office leading them. The sheriff's office is the one that let us down not once, not twice, but 3 times now during this entire investigation. And it's become very, very frustrating.
I agree.
What was your biggest concern after you walked through that house?
The biggest concern for me would be they completely missed the entire story. And basically what we're...
And granted, I don't want to lose sight. You know, I'm an older guy. They were kids in Idaho as well. But these are children and no one's doing anything about it. Look at the computers. These were set up where these restraints were. There was webcams. They found drugs. This is a deeper crime than just on the surface. I'm telling you. Again, I'm going to repeat it. I can feel it in my gut.
Hearing is that, the sheriff's office, they took point out in the property where my daughters and the other victims' bodies were found. And after they found the bodies and the suspect, Jesse McFadden, they basically called off the rest of the investigation and the search of the house and the rest of the property. And obviously, as you've seen on K4 News, I had Rylee Elizabeth with me as a reporter inside the house. She's the one who got most of that footage that I'm hoping the nation has seen by now.
We have.
We're seeing it. We're seeing it. We're going to
sir.
show it. And obviously, hey, thank you for watching.
All right.
Please go to...
Let's keep rolling on with the clips here. Let's see. Where am I at? We're going to get a interview from one of the victim's family members. Let's play this through. This is about the cell phone.
It's hard to believe that there was anything more that could be found.
But how is it that you and your family were able to get back into that home and discover yet even more evidence?
I really don't want anybody ripping Banfield on this or Cuomo. Again, I don't really relate to a lot of the politics on News Nation, but I give them a lot of credit. They're giving these families a box to stand on and speak out about this. As much as you may not like Banfield and you might not like Cuomo, they're at least giving these victims' families, an opportunity to speak out. We have to give them credit on that. They're really the only ones that are reporting on this. I'm not hearing anything else. Local Oklahoma news, but I haven't seen any major news networks, CNN or Fox, talk about this. Maybe a blurb a couple of weeks ago, but they're continuing to get this front and center, and I have to give them a lot of credit on that.
On Friday, the landlord, as we were planning the funeral, notified us that we had 3 days to get on the property or everything was going to go in a dumpster this Monday. We stopped the funeral, and myself, Holly's godmother, and her godmother's daughter, just the three of us, went to the house. And we found 5 phones. We found a notebook ledger with the names. We just found other things, and that's the other family members come. The police came. Yeah, we found a lot of horrifying things. But
we're at 62 likes. Can you just get this to 100 likes? We need 100 likes for the algorithm to get this stream out. This is the most important streams. Idaho can wait. Believe me, we're talking about children tonight. And if you're just getting in here, my platform is open to any of the family members that need to talk about this, to need to get this out on YouTube and get it deeper out to a deeper crowd. And I challenge everybody watching this stream tonight to reach out to Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt, S-T-I-T-T, and voice your displeasure on the handling of this case. There were children, there were kids that were victims in this, and the horror that was found inside of that house. This is not a surface layer crime. There's much more deep layers to this. Please, let's get this to 100 likes. We need to get this. We need to get this out. This YouTube algorithm will not push this stream if it's not at 100 likes. I need my mods to really rally for this. Let's get this to 100.
But
can you explain, Lynn, a little bit more about the ledger? Whose handwriting was it, and what was in the ledger?
Just names and ages, like numbers. I didn't
seconds to
recognize, but I knew it was something important.
We need to get awareness out, please.
We did turn it over to the police. The most probably disturbing evidence I found that day is I pulled the dresser out, and behind it was a towel with duct tape all around it, and I pulled it, and it was restraints, Velcro restraints, unlike the other restraints, which was laying all through the house. This one was taped to the back of the dresser. I asked the deputy that was on the scene if he wanted it. He said, "This is not an active crime scene. It's solved. If you don't want it, put it in the dumpster." And I begged.
This is what the deputy told to you over the weekend. You found additional restraints that very well could have had DNA of potentially other victims on it.
I begged him, "Please take this." I said, "Please take this. It's not like the chains. They weren't laid out. They were taped behind a dresser." He said, the victims are dead. The perpetrator's dead. If you don't want them, ma'am, put them in the dumpster. I said, "Why would I want them?" What did you end up doing with them? I put them in a garbage bag. On that day, we thought what we would do is hire a private investigator. I hid him in the house, and we left. In fact, I had told by the police I had to leave or he was going to arrest me. When I asked for what, he said, "We're not leaving." I was like, "I have permission to be here." But we left, and we returned the next day, and nothing could prepare anyone for what we had to find.
Can you tell me a little bit more, Lynn, about what you found under the floorboards?
I mean, you got to think the psychological torture that these families are going to go through for the rest of their lives, not knowing what happened to their daughters and their son, and their sons, their daughters, how they were tortured, how they were shot and killed. what they were used for on possibly on those computers, what horror was streamed. All I'm asking this night is just to get up to 100 likes so we can get this stream into the algorithm. YouTube likes 100 likes. If we get to 100 likes, we can get this out. This case needs to be heard. No one's talking about it. This is children that we're talking about.
The first set of clothes wasn't in the floorboards. Nor wadded up in the closet. The first pair I pulled out was just some bloody shorts. But the second, and to me, the dry blood was obvious, but it was the second pair of little underwear. And the fluid was. Yeah, we put those in garbage bags. We went back to get as much evidence out before my brother and the grandmother got there. When the OSVI got there, I gave my interview and I said, no one should have to see what I say. No one had to collect what I had to. I'm not a crime scene investigator. I'm not a police officer. I should not have had to see those things. I'm not sleeping. I'm not eating. OSCI was amazing, but that's just there was just a lot of stuff that in time I really want to sit down and talk to someone about. I need to be sensitive to the victims, my own family members. Some don't even know.
You know, again, I'm gonna speak freely here. I think a lot of people look at people in that certain area of the country and call them bumpkins because of the way that they look or the way that they live or whatever the perception is. People judge these people by the outside. These are intelligent people, and their voices need to be heard in this case. My platform is open to any of these families that want to reach out and use my platform for a bigger space.
I stepped on a hypodermic needle. I got.
Lynn, can I ask you about the nature? I know this is extraordinarily difficult, but it is so critical, this evidence, because there may be other missing children out there.
Absolutely.
Can you tell me the nature of the Polaroids, the 4-inch stack of Polaroids?
There was a lot of pictures, not just Polaroids. I found probably 4 binders. They're about this thick. I started opening them up. The first thing was Jesse McFadden's psychological evaluation. I'm just trying to be so sensitive. I don't even know if I can publicly say some of the things that it can be on TV. I don't know how to say it.
Were the
YouTube, do not censor this stream. Do not shut this stream down. It needs to be posted and put out there. This needs awareness. People need to know what's going on in that particular area, what went on in that house. This is not a surface layer crime. This is deeper, and there are a lot of victims, and there may be more missing children. And there'd be maybe more people involved in this crime ring. There were probably people that went to that house as like a dungeon or something. This was probably broadcast over the internet, the things that were going on in that house. If they're finding Polaroids, what is wrong with this fucking police department? Why isn't anybody stepping in and taking lead of this case and looking at these computers? There's probably IP addresses of people that viewed this stuff, where it all went out to, where it was sent.
Pictures of children, and were they sexual in nature?
About.
I don't want to talk about it, okay?
I understand.
I promise.
Were you able to
when-
turn that? Were you able to turn
I
those
turned it-
photographs
I
over to
turned-
the police?
I turned everything I found. I turned over correspondence with other inmates. I turned everything over that I could find.
Thank you for watching.
All right, let's keep rolling through.
You know, if you were just watching the last part of this program, we told you a lot of evidence that was discovered, even after all of the additional evidence found on Friday by the families. You know, the police just opened up the scene again. Families came back and found another trove, even worse than the first trove, bloody clothes of toddlers, more restraints, Holly's handwriting on ledgers with children's names and birthdays. That's evidence that may have actually implicated Holly in these horrible crimes of her sex offender husband. Crimes in which she herself ended up murdered, as did her 3 children, before Jesse McFadden turned the gun on himself. This was exclusive video we brought to you on Friday. But now, in light of what's under those floorboards, the additional phones that were found with children's wallets on the back, additional drugs, additional restraints, we're now looking at this video with a whole new perspective. So I'm going to play this for you, and I'm going to pause it each time so that we can start looking not just at the restraints or the liquor and the drugs and the syringes, but now at what might be in the background, now that we know how much else was in that house. Bloodied children's clothes under the floorboards. Restraints stuck behind the dresser. Restraints stuck under the house. Blood.
All right, let's take a look. We got the Book of Spells, Palm Mystery, Modern Witch's Journal, the Total Camping Manual, the complete book of, I don't even want to read that word. Hang on. The Witch's Wheel of the Year, the Herbal Handbook, Snips and Snails in Walnut Whales, Lighting the Wick, Inner Witch. Some of them I can't read. My eyes are really bad. Trying to see if I can see anything else. There's a computer keyboard to the left. Looks like a hat that might say like tacos or Pacos on it or something.
Bloodied children's clothes under the floorboards. Restraints
Exactly.
stuck behind the dresser. In this first tape I'm going to play you, the families of Ivy Webster and Brittany Brewer, who were the 2 kids who came on a sleepover and were murdered. They arrive on the scene. They are all
You just come
focused
into the
on
stream,
finding their
please
daughter's
smash
phones,
that like button. We're
right?
trying to get to 100
But then
likes
they
so
notice there are
the stream
beds
can
in
get
every
out into
single
the
room. It is
algorithm. The story
unusual.
needs to be
Watch it
heard.
again. Make sure to pay attention to the
The most
background
important
details, and we
stream
will
that I've
pause it when
done
there's
on
something
this
significant.
channel.
Take a look.
Please hit that like button.
Phone or phone case with like the screen ghost face on the back.
Yeah, she knew everything.
Get everything you can. I don't know that.
And the phone.
Yeah, those are clicking skates.
While most people were looking at the beds, there are these computers, media devices, a DVD player, maybe a VHS player. A VHS tape was found with compromising information on it, a CD or DVD, and then big boxes and boxes of what looked like maybe more tapes. And if you think about a sex offender or pedophile, you imagine that tapes would be important to collect. Also in this next clip, I want to show you, most people were focused on the filth and the dead bugs on the floor of the house and in the kitchen. But I want you to look at some of the details around that when we play this next clip. The details around the dead bugs in the kitchen. Take a look.
This is the room. Do you remember when they said that they were making Rylee sleep on their bedroom floor? Where was she sleeping at? there's no room on that floor. And then here, come over here.
Looks like a drug bag.
The focus here is that heating vent
Down
on the
the
floor.
vent.
And if you can see, the top of it is actually
off.
pulled out and cast to the side. Maybe it's an accident, or maybe it was a place to hide something, but
Yeah.
that vent in the floor is pulled out.
How do we
and
know
it's
that
out
there's
on the
not
side
people down
beside the
there?
hole in the
Kids.
floor. I want to take you now to the storage room. This is where the parents actually found their
How many more
daughters, their
lights do we
dead
need?
daughters'
Where are
cell
we at?
phones up on a shelf in a cupboard. I want you to look at it again, but take a look at some of the other details on the shelves near where the cell phones are found.
Give me something to grab.
Take a picture. Take pictures.
It's on video.
That's them. Hey, that's them.
More lights, please.
Use this sack.
Two more.
Empty lock there.
No, those
No,
locks?
that's evidence too.
So is those
He
drugs.
just wants us.
This is his daughter's cell phone that he finds.
Okay. Hold on.
Call the sheriff.
Yep.
Don't touch them. Don't move them.
Let's back out.
That's good.
Okay. I'm
Call the
calling.
chief.
I'm calling.
Smokey.
Are you done looking?
No.
No. I'm not done looking, but that's evidence.
Okay.
He used our daughter's cell phone.
And whatever's behind that.
Yep. Okay.
And they're not concerned about looking anywhere else.
This house needs to be stripped. Again, the parents were looking for the cell phones of their daughters, but look up top. Big bags filled with who knows what. Sharp edges, maybe equipment, books, tapes, who knows, but the police left it all there. Thank you for watching. Go.
All right, let's keep rolling on. I'm going to keep just kind of rolling through and getting this information out. Here's another one from, let's see, who else do we have? 32. Okay, we have Enton and Banfield here. All right, let's go.
Things that I am reporting on, Brian, these are children, some of them toddlers, right there in full evidence.
If you haven't already, please.
And it seems that every day we find out even more about this horrendous crime.
Stream out into the algorithm is important.
I'm very interested,
hear this
Ashley,
episode
in
tonight.
the 32 cell phones you mentioned that are registered to that address. The addresses on the cell phone accounts, all 32 of them
I think
register back to that ranch address. What does that mean, especially when you bring in the fact that there are a high number of child sexual predators that live right in that area near where the ranch is? I mean, you put the pieces of the puzzle together, everything you've talked about that was found inside the house, the drugs, the pictures of young children in lewd positions,
Thank you.
the chains that were tied up on the ground. It was clearly some kind of torture house. And then you wonder why cell phones would be registered there from 32 different people and that there's this high number of sexual predators in the area. I think we're going to find out a lot more now that—
Again, if you've just come into the stream, you need to reach out to Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt, Stitt, and let him know your displeasure about the handling of this case. It's very important. This is not a surface layer crime. This is a deeper crime. When you call, if you call the governor's office, treat it with respect. Treat them with respect. When you treat things with respect, it'll get out there. You don't want to get yourself in any trouble, a threat, or anything like that. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to raise awareness to this horrible crime. It's not a surface layer crime. There's much more going on. And if any of the families are watching tonight, reach out to me at theopinionatedidiot@gmail.com. I will give you all the space and time that you need to get your story out there in your displeasure of the handling in this crime. My platform is open to you, free and all. Just come use this platform if you need to. All right, let's keep playing.
They're finally investigating all of this.
I'm going to ask you in a second, Brian, if you will read the letter that Jesse McFadden wrote to the judge begging to get out of prison early, promising he was going to be such a good boy. I'm going to ask you that in a moment. And while you're getting that letter ready, I want to let our audience know what the Oklahoma newspaper has unearthed today about Jesse McFadden and his background, that he was a member of the Klan in 2005. He told a corrections case manager not to house him any further with Black people. The records show, quote, I was raised around the Klan. A lot of my family is Klan. I'm a racial person, he wrote.
Disgusting.
This according to the Oklahoma newspaper. They also are reporting the multiple sex offenses that he committed in prison. The first one in 2009, caught naked in his cell with another inmate. The next one in 2010, another inmate accused him of raping him. McFadden admitted to the sexual relationships with the inmate, disciplined internally. In 2013 and 2016, 2 separate offenses with a clandestine cell.
This is a failure of the system. This needs to be looked into. You need to let Governor Kevin Stitt, S-T-I-T-T, let him know of your displeasure of the handling in this case. It's very important.
Phone. And on that cell phone, child porn. He was standing trial for that. Never made it to the first day of his actual case. And in another instance, he stole $80,000 from his own grandfather's safe.
Oh my God.
I mean, this is just an unbelievable, despicable human being. What is it that he said to the judge to try to convince the judge that he was nothing other than a despicable human being?
Yeah, so he wrote this letter, Ashley, trying to convince the judge to let him out of jail, despite everything you just read, admitting to raping and having another sexual relationship with an inmate in jail. He wrote this letter. I'm going to read it to you, to the judge. He said, I do know that there is a lot of pain and suffering and that I was the cause of that pain. I sit and think about how I can change what I've done, but no matter how much I'd like to, there's no changing the past. So the future is all that's left to me. I'd like to get out and prove that I have changed and am a better person. I also have to take a drug rehabilitation class, even though it wasn't a program that was required because I had a problem with drugs and alcohol. When I can find a facility with a sex offenders course, I will be taking that also. So that was a letter to the judge, but remember his violent history in jail. And then I was thinking back to the roommate who you interviewed last week, who was in the cell with him, who said he had to sleep with one eye open. So clearly what he was writing to this judge was not reality.
Yeah, no kidding, because 7 people, him included, were found dead on that farm. And who knows if maybe others might be. Those excavators were brought in. Who knows what they unearthed? The ME is not reporting, not saying anything, and nor are the state authorities. Brian Enton, thank you for that. Thank you for watching.
All right, let's roll through. We got a couple more, and then we're going to wrap this up for tonight. I appreciate everybody hanging in there and really caring and really advocating for these victims and these families. If you're first time over here, please make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. Turn on your bell notification. Do live streams Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to support the channel, you can go down there and hit the join button below and join one of the monthly memberships. My memberships start at $1.99. It's less than a cup of coffee, and it helps support this channel and get this type of material out onto YouTube. YouTube, please do not censor this stream. Don't shut it down. Let me post it. We need to advocate for these families. We need to advocate for these victims. We need a bigger voice out there. This attention needs to be brought to this case. It is deeper than a surface layer crime. It's deeper than what was going on inside that house. Oh, man. Okay.
The police had no interest in taking the evidence. None. Until they did. And then the cavalry came with excavators and divers and all the rest. But why didn't they care in the beginning? A week ago, when family members were discovering the horrors inside that home where their children were murdered, and maybe others, and certainly where other children may have been molested, abused, or worse.
And listen, I know this is, it's probably not the most appropriate stream this evening, considering it is Mother's Day. But we need to get this out. The Ripple Effect 8 says, I'm a mama here, and thank you, Brian, for being such a kind, brave gentleman, for sharing the truth and shining a bold light on this darkness. Thank you for protecting the children. Absolutely. Giovanna says, please, YouTube, don't censor this video. All right, let's keep playing through here.
When they asked one of the investigators last week, why on earth is this so hard? Why are you not collecting this stuff? The response that came from the investigator was, well, what good would it do? You know, they're all dead anyway, right? The perpetrator's dead anyway. Hey, don't take it from me. Here it is. They actually captured it on tape. Listen.
What would this accomplish?
I'm a grieving parent that my daughter got raped and murdered. And you're telling me right now that I don't have a right to know what happened?
Just a quick glance at the horrors in that house tell, you know, the untrained eye that something horrible happened in that house, and probably not the first time. I want to bring in Robin Dreek. He's a retired FBI special agent and head of the counterintelligence behavioral analysis program.
This is good. I want to hear what this gentleman has to say. I want to see what his take is on this. All right, let's sit back and see what he has to say.
With the FBI. Robin, I am shocked to hear a law enforcement representative say, what would this accomplish anyway? You know, the only guy who knows what happened here had a bullet in his head. Nothing more to see here. It just defies logic, seeing something that sophisticated as a sex torture chamber, that it's really the first and only time it happened.
It's the most shocking thing I've ever seen in law enforcement. I from the moment that the chief gave his press conference a couple days ago before it to that officer's statement, what you're seeing is a pattern of language of what I call resignation, which is what people do in the language they go to when they feel a lack of control, they feel external pressures, they feel a sense of helplessness. So for some reason, from the top down, this department seems to have given up. I mean, someone needs to go in and do something right very fast to restore public trust and confidence in them, because the entire thing's a disaster. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, they were there with the Oklahoma
Bravo,
Bureau of Investigation.
sir. Bravo.
Finally, today, with the excavators and the dive teams, et cetera, at a pond that was only created 2 months ago, shall we be clear. I'm assuming they're going to start cross-referencing all the missing kids in this vicinity and maybe all of Oklahoma or farther. In the meantime, we already get the feeling, given the sophistication of this operation that was in that house, that there may be more children. There were ledgers with children's names. There was a 4-inch stack of Polaroids of children, some of them naked, in sexually compromising positions, we are told. What is the chance, though, Robin, that there might be more perpetrators? Meaning there might be people out there that need to be arrested and prosecuted alongside, the crimes of the dead Jesse McFadden.
Huge.
Let me get to this super chat. Christine Brown says, Brian, I think you may be the only person in YouTube history that has more likes than people watching. Congratulations, my friend. Thank you so much, Christine. I appreciate that. I'm gonna lay off on the celebratory tones this evening because of the content, but I do appreciate that. We need to reach out to Governor Stitt, Kevin Stitt in Oklahoma, STITT, and voice our displeasure of the handling this case. Demand that the FBI gets involved. This is a deeper crime. This is not a surface layer crime. This goes deeper. This is my most important stream that I have ever done on my YouTube channel. And I wish I had 500 people watching, just like last night. I wish we could do more. I wish I could get more eyes in front of this right now. I wish I had more eyes on this platform watching the stream right now. It's Governor Kevin Stitt. And please, no threats. We approach this with respect. You are getting, you're reaching out to a official of the government. We're not coming in any type of threat, but we need to have we need to get this story out. We're not threatening anybody. We're not going to hurt anybody. We just want answers, and we want a deeper level of law enforcement to get involved and look at this case. It's deeper. It's not a surface layer crime. I wish I had last night was my biggest stream. 468 people watched. It was the peak. I wish I had those 468 people here watching tonight. So if you're watching this on replay, this is the most important stream that I have done on my channel. This is kids. There's more things involved in this crime. Let's keep playing through.
You judge, I put it at almost 100%. You know, I used to work as a board member for a group called Innocent Lives Foundation. And one of the things that we did was we actually researched using cyber technology and to uncover all these types of pedophiles. And one pedophile like this can be linked to 600 to 600 different children, all that are networked into these other pedophiles. So the likelihood of finding other victims and other perpetrators, really high. They need to be on top of this right now. And to the poor people, the families involved.
I'm just going to pause this really quick too. Justin Webster, if you're watching this or you see my stream on YouTube after it posts, or you're watching live right now, my platform is open to you, sir. If you need to get another platform other than the mainstream media, my platform is open to you, sir, to come on this channel and voice your displeasure, or to call out and try to get a bigger entity of law enforcement involved in this crime. It needs to be looked into.
I haven't heard any mention yet, and I'm sure they're going to be doing it now, is victim assistance programs need to be involved right now to start taking care of the trauma that these families have been through. Because you're right, this is vast. I think there's going to be a lot of changes coming up in the leadership in this organizations.
Just a parade of horribles. Poor Lynn Watt at the beginning of this program saying on television, I need help processing this mentally. It's a tragedy on so many levels. Robin Dreek, will you come back this week? Because this is just unfolding and there's still a lot more to discuss as we learn what they discovered today. Thank you so much for this.
Ashley. Thank you.
Okay. All right, let's I got another video here, and then I got 2 more I'm gonna do, and then we're gonna wrap this up. About another 12 minutes on the stream. Okay.
This is not an active crime scene. This case is solved. The pictures that you see scrolling on your screen right now are missing children in Oklahoma. And we've only chosen the missing children who have gone missing since Jesse McFadden was let out of prison in November of 2020. So for the entire time that I'm going to discuss this next segment, you will see these children and their names and their faces and their ages. They are all missing. This came to us from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The curious thing is why were these kids not top of mind when they found that horrible sex chamber? Why did they not think it was possible, maybe even probable, given that Jesse McFadden murdered his entire family and 2 kids on a sleepover? And then he had all of that sex paraphernalia and dungeon-like equipment in his home. Why is it not plausible that maybe one of these kids may have been there? Maybe one of these kids may have died there. Lynn Wyatt is the aunt of Holly. Holly is his wife. She got a bullet to the head too. It is possible she was even complicit in these sexual crimes that occurred there. Why? Because she said, although it's being disputed, she said she found blood-covered children's clothes under the floorboards of the house, ledgers with names and ages, that's not being disputed, hidden Velcro restraints, not disputed, handfuls of pictures, somewhat disputed, dozens of cell phones, and even bones on the property. And yet a deputy told these family members, this isn't an active crime scene, it's solved. What good would it do to continue working in here to solve? The only person who knows what happened here is dead. What good would it do? What good would it do? Look at these faces. Look at these faces of missing kids. This is what good it
In
might do.
Oklahoma, this is just
We might get some
Oklahoma.
answers. Every one of these kids represents
This
a
is
family with a
Oklahoma.
hole in their heart. They need
In
answers.
2 months.
They deserve answers. And they deserve police to give them those answers. Joining me now is Kathleen Canning Mello. She was an FBI agent and profiler for more than 30 years, specializing in violent crime and investigations involving children. What are the chances, Kathleen, that there were more victims, possibly some of these kids, that had seen that home?
I think there is definitely a possibility. And given what we know about Jesse McFadden's behavior, the fact that he was a sexual predator, and I'm seeing many characteristics of psychopathy in his behavior as well, during the decades-long patterns that we have seen during his lifetime of offending, I think it's a question that needs to be answered. And I think now I'm happy and relieved to see that the OSBI is now investigating this case, and especially having taken control of all of those electronic devices, because those would be the first things that we would seize in a case like this in order to determine what kind of collection he may have had in those devices, who he was corresponding with over the last few years. And what's really, I think, important to note when I'm thinking about psychopathy, you know, his lack of empathy, the fact that he had early behavioral problems going back to his teen years in terms of his sexual predation of others. But also this manipulation that we see when he had told Holly, he actually had hired somebody to tell Holly that the violent rape that he had committed back in 2003 was not a rape, and that it was a misunderstanding. So there are a lot of red flags for me that may indicate that he may have other victims, because he was a very prolific sex offender and very highly competent in terms of his manipulation of others.
Can I ask you, when Aunt Lynn told us that she discovered when she moved a dresser, Velcro restraints that were taped to the back of the dresser, and asked, this is in her estimation, this is her description, she asked the officer who was on scene, would you like to take them? He said, no, you can either toss them out or take them home, but everything here is going to be thrown out. I just imagine that Velcro restraints would be rich with evidence and DNA. I would assume that's how you match potential kids like this with scenes like that. But the sheets, the bedding, the restraints, everything seemed to be left behind, just rich with all this evidence.
Yes, I mean, from the start, this should have been a very intensive forensic search of that house. So, of course, collect all the electronic gaming equipment, all of the computers, but all of those items that may have DNA on them, particularly those restraints. And we know about him in the 2003 rape that he had used restraints against his victim. So this is something that is part of his sexual arousal patterns. I see sadism in his behavior as well. This potential torture, as you're calling it in your program,
Blondie.
that is sexually arousing to him. So that's very important to him, and you're going to see elements of that in his pornography collections as well. And also that compulsiveness of his behavior, right? He's serving time for a sexually violent rape against a minor. He hasn't even completed the sentence, and he's sexting another minor in an effort to receive sexually explicit photos from that minor. I mean, that is really
charged with it. Never adjudicated, because on day one of the trial, he put a bullet in his own head and everyone else's. I have to leave it there, Kathleen.
Needs to be investigated, Blondie. Everybody needs to be investigated. The DA, the judge, the parole board that let this animal out, and anybody that's come across in his criminal career that has given this monster a pass needs to be investigated. I'm calling all of you out tonight in a respectful way. You need to voice your opinion. You need to let your voice heard. Reach out to the governor of Oklahoma, Kevin Stitt, S-T-I-T-T, and let him know the displeasure of the handling in this case, that the FBI needs to get involved. Needs to get involved. These are children we're talking about, and this is not a surface layer crime. There is a deeper thing going on here. There's computers in that house. There's webcam video gear that they found. There's drugs. There was alcohol. There's horrible things that went on in that house that need to be deeply investigated. I am pretty sure that they're going to find that there were people that came over and enjoyed and joined in this abuse. And those people need to be prosecuted and put away for the rest of their lives. People that viewed any of this on their computers, there's IP addresses that they can trace. They all need to go down and put away for the rest of their lives, because there's a deeper hell for people like this. There's a deeper hell. All right, let's keep playing on, and I'm going to wrap this up and give you my final word. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. The people that have come in or the people that have stayed through this entire stream. It is important that we advocate for these families and these victims. This is the most important stream that I've ever done on this channel. And like I said last night, 468 people watched my stream last night about Idaho. I wish there was 468 people watching the stream tonight. That's how important, how much more important this is, because it involves kids. And I get it. Idaho is very important to me. Solving that and getting that to a finality in some way of closure is very important to me. But this is deeper. This is children. This is children. Their lives haven't even started yet. All right, let's keep playing.
Candy Mello, thank you for this, but I do want to tell our audience that they can look to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Check the database there. There are lots of resources. Just go to missingkids.org. You can find out more about the kids here. By the way, one of them, Ronnie Marshall, is from McAllister, which is where the McFaddens lived. It's very distressing. Again, thank you so much, Kathleen. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to wrap this one up. I am on Twitter. I'll drop my Twitter there. I don't spend much time on it, to believe it or not. Twitter to me is just a fucking nightmare. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it. You can reach me on Twitter there. It's my Twitter. You can tweet me or whatever you want to do. Tweet, twins, that, whatever it is. I'm not a Twitter guy. Emails, live streams. To where we need to be heard. Listen, something really stuck with me today, and I think this is why I've been very compassionate about this stream and very passionate and had a lot of compassion. I'm going to share with you a comment that was left on my stream last night. If you didn't watch that, you can go back and view it. It's a Xanakernodal encounter alleged killer Brian Koberger in the kitchen. Someone left a comment today that kind of stuck with me and fired me up. And I think that's why I've been very passionate about this stream tonight. And I'll be honest with the audience, I didn't think that I was going to go on and do this stream tonight because it's so emotional. I did shed some tears tonight. This is it's a deeper level of things to get into. And like I said, it's probably one of my most important streams that I've done. But I want people to hear the passion in my voice. Someone left me a comment today that really got under my skin. And they said, it's because of people like you. And this is going to Idaho. It's because of people like you that these kids in Idaho keep dying. You seem to care more about your channel and support it. Let me try to get this again. I'm so fired up about this. It's because people like you that kids in Idaho keep dying. You seem to care more about your channel and the supposed facts than spreading awareness about the major drug problem going on in my school. You're a fucking joke, man. Well, you know what? You're a fucking joke, because I don't see you on a platform. I don't see you voicing things and bringing crimes like this to light. So if you're watching tonight, me along with everybody that's watching and probably the people on this replay, fuck you. You're a joke. Because I don't see you watching tonight. And this is the most important stream that I've had on this platform. And if you don't think I give a damn about any of the victims that I talk about on this, then you got something coming, Johnny. Because I don't feed bullshit in these streams. I don't talk conspiracies. I talk facts. And I've opened my platform up to these victims. So if anybody wants to come on my channel after I talk about a certain case that may be a victim that needs to get their story out there deeper into the conversation, my platform is open to you. You can reach out to me, theopinionatedidiot@gmail.com. I'll give you my platform. And you know what? You don't have to watch my streams. It's fine, because people will come and go. And you know what? This platform is growing at an alarming rate that I sometimes wake up and can't believe it. And this platform will continue to grow. And I will continue to advocate. And I will someday get this out of my bedroom into an actual studio where I can have live people come in and tell us their stories. Because we care. The idiots in this chat room care. That's what I'm going to leave you with all this evening. I appreciate you all stopping by, the contribute of this channel to keep spreading the word and getting this out into the algorithm. Let's keep building this community. Let's keep building this platform. You're all amazing people and you all care. Let me address this and then we're going to close it out. $10 super chat for Iron Range Rube that says, thank you for sharing. No applause needed. That's my mic drop for this evening. I don't see you on a platform. I don't see you advocating for victims like this, like children. I'm the opinionated idiot. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night. Happy Mother's Day.